Man, it's so funny because right before I was about to go live, the dog had passed us. That was reactive. And I'm walking Lila and Emma. This is Lila and Emma. Emma is the brindle. Lila is the black Great Dane. Their owner is an older woman, and she can't walk these two regularly. So I come and walk her dogs for her. They're always a little amped up because, you know, we do this once a week, so they don't quite get out as much as they should. But once we settle in and get into a groove, everything's pretty smooth. So unfortunately, I don't have permission to walk these two dogs off leash. I think it would go well, but you know, the owner, I don't have the permissions owner to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But we'll wait for some people to show up. Somebody had requested or gave the suggestion that I discuss reactivity because it's a extremely common problem, and it seems like it's just more and more common than it used to be, just like aggression. If anybody's new to my channel, highly recommend going to watch my series, the parallels between the rise in aggressive behavior in dogs and children. I dive into what I believe are the common denominators when it comes to the fact that we've seen over the years a rise in aggressive behavior with children. There are a lot of similarities in the rise in aggressive behavior with dogs. The two seem to be there's a lot of overlap there. So one of my favorite series, still to this day, I think that first video still, I think, as far as a long form video, still to this day, I think the best performing video on my channel. I'm really proud of that first one. But yeah, if you haven't seen those, there's three parts. If you haven't seen any of them, highly recommend it. But this, if you're just joining, this is Lila and Emma, two Great Danes. I come walk them once a week. Their owner is she's an older woman. She can't walk them. So I come and do it for her. You know what, I'm gonna get away from this road just so people can hear me better. It's a little noisy on that road. But here are the two Great Danes, Lila and Emma. They are two peas in a pod, let me tell you. But yeah, I don't know. I did a live stream last night, and for some reason it said I had 20 chats, and none of them showed up. So for those of you that were watching last night, and if you were commenting, for some reason I couldn't see it. So I'm hoping that if people comment today, I can fucking see it. I don't know why they didn't show up. It might have been the signal strength at the woods, you know, was poor, and so I think that had something to do with it. Right? Okay, good. I could see your chat, OT. Yeah, you ever see that movie Gremlins, OT? You know, she jumped in the water. Man, I used to love that movie when I was a kid. Gremlins, I think I said it right, yeah. Used to watch that with my brothers all the time. Don't put the Mogwai in the water. Or it was, don't feed them after midnight and don't let them jump in the water. And of course, what ends up happening, they feed them after midnight. What was it, fried chicken, I think? And then they jump in the water. And then all hell breaks loose, you know? But, oh, damn. Is there a fire? You see that? there's a fighter. All right, Emma, come on, girl. That sucks. It's like the roof caved in or something. But yeah, I used to watch that. Man, I forget how old I was when I used to watch that with my brothers. But we watched the shit out of that movie. Gremlins 2 wasn't as good. It was alright, but nah, the first Gremlins, that was a classic movie, man. But it's a beautiful day here in Illinois. But yeah, I'll just shoot the shit with you, OT, until once we get some more people in the room, I'll start talking about the topic. You mean when you were watching? I think that movie came out in what, like the late 70s? I think it was a 70s movie. But yeah, man, I haven't seen that movie in forever. But yeah, these are big girls. Lila's about 130 pounds. Emma we were expecting her to kind of fill out like Lila has, but she's a little taller, but she's still a little bony. She hasn't filled out like we thought she would. She's a little skinny. And she's an adult now. But I don't know. You know, maybe when she gets a little older, she'll start to look like Lila. But I would walk them off leash, but I don't have the owner's permission to do that, so we're not going to do that. But I'll get going on the topic once we get some people in the room. Hey Ryan, what's up, man? Yeah, it's working this time. I can see you, man. I think it was it was probably I probably didn't have good reception for some reason. Well, the reception at the Woods is hit or miss. But Emma, come on, girl, come on. Yeah, I know it itches a little bit. Man. I'm assuming that was why. But I can see you now. Okay, yeah, you were watching that. Yeah, I couldn't see shit, but you were. Yeah, I was asking what you guys watch. You had said you hate watch content guy. Who is he? Because yeah, I mean, we all hate watch somebody, I think. You know, that's just human nature, I think. But yeah, and you know, I'm glad you reminded me, because somebody was asking. I'm glad you reminded me of the 105th First Airborne channel. I think I said it right. I went back and found a couple of his older videos. I really like what he puts out there. For those of you joining, that's Lila, the Great Dane. That's Emma. Lila and Emma. They're two peas in a pod. I just come and walk their owners. I come and walk them. Their owner's an older woman. She can't really walk them. So I come and walk them for her. First, hold on, I'm trying to read your comment here, Ryan. She doesn't. I don't think they'll give you a hard time. I mean, your therapist isn't there to give you a hard time, but maybe just understand things. At least I would hope. I don't know. You tell me. Yeah, I never understood the whole. I don't know, people that have like entire zoos in their house. I don't get it. Like I know people that have dogs, cats, birds. You know, and the birds spend their whole lives in these cages. I don't know. To me, it's like you imagine just living your whole life in a fucking cage? A little cage. I wouldn't do it. If I had a bird, you know, I'd give it free reign of the house, you know. With the exception of it shitting everywhere, you know, of course there's a time and place to put it in a cage and whatnot. For everybody joining us, Lila and Emma. Two very large Great Danes. Lila's about 130 pounds. She was supposed to be that big. She never quite filled out. She's taller than Lila. But looks like we got some people in the room, so I'll start talking about the topic here in a moment. Oh, I got you, right. Yeah, that's what you're paying them for. That's what you want. But don't take that as another reason though to beat yourself up. Like if they get on your case, don't you know, don't use it as ammunition for self-flagellation. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you got the space, but sometimes it's not even about the space. It's just about like how much can you meet the needs of all those animals? You know what I mean? And a lot of times people get all those animals for the wrong reasons. You know? Oh, okay. I got you, Ryan. No, I agree. OT. Own what you want. But, you know, don't, like, if you really can't do it responsibly or don't have the means to care for the animal properly, then, you know, yeah, you're free to do it, but you don't really have, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, things don't end up going well. You got a dog over there. It's like those people, you ever see the episodes of Hoarders, you know? Some of those episodes, they find dead cats and dogs buried under shit. It's like, listen, if you... that would be a situation where I'd think, you know, maybe you really shouldn't have an animal. Yeah. I'm going to stop here for a minute. Give you guys a good look at the Danes. There's Emma. There's Lila. Black Beauty. Right, girl? I have a couple of short videos with these two on there, but I've never done a live stream with them or a long form video walking them. That'd be a good opportunity to do it. But anyway, so discussing the topic, people were asking me, you know, people would, Will, if you're watching, you suggested reactivity would be a good topic to discuss because it's so common now. It's like aggression. It's just becoming more and more of an issue. The two major things people contact me for help with is aggression and reactivity, or their dogs just being just disrespectful. But here's what I've come to understand about reactivity. Because again, if we approach this from a social perspective and not a training perspective, right? Let's look at the relationship roles. Right, so if I take a dog out, or sometimes, you know, reactivity can happen anywhere in the house, whatever. But if I take a dog out on a leash, and it is true, there are some dogs that are leash reactive. They only exhibit this sort of thing on a leash, and there are different reasons for that. But if we examine the relationship roles, if a dog's becoming reactive to something in the environment, then that dog is now taking the position of being the assertive one between human and dog. The dog is essentially taking on the leadership role, right? Just like, if you get a dog, the dogs that are making noise in the house. Now, of course, dogs are territorial and they're going to alert, but your dogs don't need to react to it, right? Neither one of them should really react to it. But what's happening there is, all right, hold on, girls. The dog is essentially taking on the leadership role, and if you allow them to do it, and it happens over and over and over again, then what is that dog supposed to believe other than, all right, well, it's my role to engage this way. It's my job, it's my position to address the things in the environment, because the human who's with me isn't telling me otherwise, right? Hasn't established that dynamic correctly. So it can become a learned thing where it's just like it's been repeated so many times that the dog is just in the habit of doing it. But it only ends up there because the human did not take the leadership role it was supposed to and build a correct dynamic between them and the dog. Right? And so this is why, I don't understand people that seem to think that dogs, are consciously thinking. What evidence do you have to support the idea that dogs are consciously thinking about anything? Dogs are impulsive, reactionary creatures. Dogs live in the moment and are simply reacting to the things that happen or the things that show up in the environment. Oh, thank you. You want to say hi? They're very, very friendly. They're Great Danes.
My son had a big, like a gray Dane.
Oh, gray one, yeah.
And it was a rescue dog and it had a slit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Something happened to it?
I think the previous owner something happened.
Oh, that's no good.
Beautiful dog. God, he was statuesque.
Yeah. I've met a couple gray, I met one that was like white and gray and had spots on it.
Yeah.
You don't see those very often.
Yeah,
but you also don't see ones like with the she's the first Dane I've ever met that had brindle,
Yeah. This one was gray and had like lines on it. It wasn't spotted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it was I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that coat is called, but I can picture it in my mind.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that, except a little different.
He died quite a while ago, but he looked even bigger than these two.
Probably, actually, their owner had a boy who was 185 pounds.
Oh,
before
he
these
wasn't
two.
that big.
Yeah, sometimes they get big. Like she's 130.
And the funny thing is, next door, this is in Arizona, next door to him I had another Great Dane, and he was black, and he was even bigger than our sons, and they call him Napoleon. And they had a fence, and he would lean his head over the fence and go,
oh, yeah. I remember I had a client once that I went to their home, and they had a Great Dane I was helping them with, and we were done. And I was talking to one of the owners, and I thought I saw the dog's head behind him, so I peeked, and the dog they had a pot on the stove full of chicken legs, and the dog literally just grabbed one, it was tall enough it could just grab one. Luckily the stove wasn't on, but it was funny. It was like, okay, just help yourself.
Yeah. I used to take him for a walk around, and he lived on a big main street, and it had fenced-in yards. Mm-hmm. So we're walking by this one, and you could hear inside this one dog was growling and barking.
Oh, yeah.
He jumped up on the table because he wanted to jump over the fence.
He's probably big enough to do it.
He sounded like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't see him.
And some dogs are a little more agile than they look. It's amazing how high they can jump.
Yeah.
And these.
Thank you. These are beautiful dogs.
Thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate you stopping and chatting. Have a great day.
You do the same.
Yeah, we get a lot of attention when we walk through the neighborhood. These two massive dogs. People are always like, what kind of dogs are those? But anyway, back to the issue of reactivity, right? First thing you have to understand is dogs are impulsive, reactionary creatures, right? But it also comes down to the role you play. You know, if you allow your dog to repeatedly assert itself over things in the environment, then it's going to keep doing it. And so a lot of it too, the reactivity, and sometimes it's not even with the intent to be aggressive. Sometimes, like if you, I have a series on my channel with an Australian Shepherd named Cooper. Cooper was an extremely reactive dog. Now, what's funny about Cooper, his owners, before they hired me, when I talked to him on the phone initially, she's like, well, Kevin, I've done everything I can think of with this dog. We've been to group classes. I've done all the training I can think of. Now, she was, of course, doing like treat training and all these exercises and all these games, and took him to all these classes and so on and so forth. But she's like, I just cannot figure it out. I've done everything I can think of. I said, well, let's address this a little differently. So, you know, let me see it. Let me come over and assess it. And, you know, when you approach things like reactivity from a training perspective, which is what she was doing, because that's what she was told. You know, the group classes she went to were absolute shit. It was these stupid classes where the people they take them into these big rooms, and they have all the dogs. They're almost like little cubicles, like each dog's in its own little cubicle. The dogs can't even see each other. And they were trying to address the reactivity through these little cubicles where the dogs couldn't even see each other or engage with each other. They couldn't get close to one another. I'm like, well, how is this supposed to help anybody? And so she didn't find any benefit in those classes at all. But, so I said, let's remove all the treats, let's remove all the training, let's remove the exercises you've been doing, let's strip it all down. Right? So Cooper was a great example of a dog who we used a halty on him as a last resort because we went back to a leash and collar. She was walking him on a harness. Nothing was working. He was very, very difficult on even a leash and collar. So I was like, all right, well, let's put him on a halty and let's see. And the halty did the trick. You can watch the series. You know, I have 2 different series of Cooper on my channel. Did very, very, very well. But the halty was able, you know, in many, many cases, reactivity, it's a process of escalation, right? So it always starts, the escalation always starts at the level of the dog fixating on something. If you go, I have short videos with Cooper where I break this down. You know, if you don't want to watch all the longer parts, which I recommend you do, but if you just want to see those moments where and a halty is a great tool to be able to do it, but if you address the dog when it fixates on something in the environment and you can break that fixation, then the escalation never happens. So it goes from the dog fixating on something to, you know, the next stage is usually the dog growls or barks, and then the dog will move forward towards the thing it's fixated on. So if you address the dog at the level of fixation, and these are gentle leaders, same idea as a halty. But what I love about these is it makes it so easy, where if the dog was fixating on something over there, I could use the gentle leader and just pull to the side to move the head away from the thing they're fixated on. So the eyes move back to a forward position. So we're breaking that focus, and I'm trying to tell the dog, like, don't worry about that thing, let's keep moving forward. Don't pay attention to it, it's not your concern. So we go from a state of mind in the dog to, hey, I don't like this thing, I want to address this thing, I want to move forward towards this thing, to, nope, pay attention to me, don't worry about that thing, and let's move forward. So that escalation never happens. That is the easiest and most efficient way to resolve it. And I've seen a lot of videos where people make reactivity out to be this overly complicated thing, and it's not. It's really not. Reactivity is simple. It's simple to understand. It's easy to resolve if you just address things at the right moment in the right way. You know, but understand, sometimes reactivity is rooted in anxiety, stress, fear. Sometimes it's rooted in dominance. Depends on the dog. In either case, it doesn't matter because the solution is still the same. You're still addressing that dog in the same way. When it fixates on something, you break that focus. Now, there are other things you can do. You know, I like to take a holistic approach to everything. So in conjunction with this, you know, usually reactive dogs are lacking boundaries, they're lacking structure, they're lacking clear and effective communication from their owner, they're lacking leadership from the owner. So these are the other things we need to implement on a day-to-day basis in the home and outside of the home. See, like this right here, I don't want that. So see, if I just use the leash to move their head forward, just like that, and we keep moving, just like that. So they went from being alert and looking at that dog that was barking to eyes forward. And you see the physiology change too, where the ears, see, like this, ears perk up, eyes forward, just like that. It's that simple. Eyes forward. You don't need to do much. So then you see when you get them back to a forward position, it's just like this, they relax again. We don't have to worry about it. I'm saying don't worry about that dog. It's nothing to be concerned about. But you'll notice a gradual diminishment if, say, the boundaries and the structure that is not there, if you begin to implement. And on the leash is equally important too. Like the boundaries and structure I give on the leash is like, say, with these two right here. One of the rules, or one of the aspects of it is the natural lines of the sidewalk. I'm saying don't cross those lines. I want you to stay inside those lines until I give you permission to cross over into the grass. Part of it too is don't be in front dragging me. I want you next to me or a little behind me. You know, the dogs as big as these, if they're a little bit in front, I don't care. But as long as they're not putting tension, as long as they're not pulling on the leash, that's what we want. But you also want them to demonstrate that they're following you. The other thing too is I want to keep them on one side, so they're not zigzagging and running behind me and engaging in a way that would keep them in one spot, one side moving forward, and they tend to relax and focus, right? So these are just simple things you can do while you're walking on the leash that go a long way. And these are all things we did with Cooper. But the other thing too is people tend to give their dog too much freedom with the leash. So especially if you have these like retractable leashes or anything, like I would get rid of those. Go to a leash and collar or a halty, and you want to give the dog only the amount of leash they can handle. Right? If you give the dog too much freedom and it is reactive, well, you're putting yourself in a really bad position because now you can't address the dog correctly at the right moments. You make things more difficult for yourself. The dog hasn't earned that level of freedom yet, but the more it consistently shows you the things that you're wanting to see, my hand's stuck here, then you can give the dog a little more leash, a little more freedom, and then it's just a gradual process, right? Oh yeah, we should go. No, I don't want you to lick that. We should go find the water bowl. Someone in the neighborhood that leaves a water bowl out. They really love going and having a drink. But I think reactivity is on the rise because a lot of people, especially nowadays, they approach their relationship with their dog from this love and affection perspective, and that's all they do. And so the dog has no choice but to take on a more assertive role. It's like the human's too soft, the human's too passive, the human's too weak, so therefore I have to be in control. Well, when you reestablish things where that dog understands you're in control, then the dog can settle down, relax, and follow you. Right? Reactivity doesn't have to be this complicated algorithm you have to solve. It's very simple. But if anybody has any questions about it, or anybody is experiencing a reactivity with their dog, whether inside of the home or out, let me know. We can work through it here. Feel free to ask, or let me know what's going on, and we can address it. And I've got these two here. If you're just joining, that's Emma, that's Lila. These are not my dogs. One of my clients' dogs. I come to walk them. It's an older woman who owns them, and I just come and walk them once a week because she really can't. It's like right here, they're doing a great job, so I'll give them some time in the grass if they want it, right? I know, the only downside to the gentle leaders is they're a little itchy on the nose, but that one's very loose. It's not that tight on her. I'd walk them off leash, but their owner, I don't have permission from their owner, so we're not going to do that. I know, girl. I know. The woman that loves to leave water out. I know. Get it all out, Emma. We're going to keep moving here. We're going to cross the street. These two are funny. All right, let's go. Let's go, girls. Let's go. Appreciate everybody joining. If anybody has any questions about reactivity, feel free to ask. This is Lila and Emma. But as I said before, the key to reactivity is understanding how to read the dog, being able to anticipate the dog's next move, or if you understand, like if you know, okay, when I walk out my door and I know my dog is reactive to other dogs, well, you can anticipate, say you see a dog in the distance, you can anticipate that and then set yourself up into a position where you can make things work. Right? Like, for instance, if I have a dog across the street coming, and if I've got the dog on my left side and the dog is closer to the dog who's across the street, I can still address that, but say I have a halty on the dog, me maybe pulling and redirecting the head may not be enough. That dog may be very strong and very, very locked in. So at that point, if I know that about my dog, then I'll put them on the outside so that I can also use my leg to kind of block them, and it will assist me in moving their head from a position of being locked in over here to back to a forward position. So at that point, rather than pulling to the side to move the head, you would be more pulling up and towards you to bring the head to a forward position. But it's all about addressing that escalation. And then it just becomes a matter of timing and repetition, in conjunction with the boundaries in the structure you are now implementing where there wasn't any. All right, and to me, it's as simple as that. I don't think it doesn't need to be any more complicated. right? Doesn't need to be any more complicated. But just understand, if you take a passive role with your dog, these are the problems it leads to. It leads to reactivity. It leads to aggression. You know, if you are focused on only giving love and affection, it will lead to these problems. If you, engage in these all positive treat-based methodologies, that can lead to reactivity. It can lead to a very stressed, anxious dog. Right? So just things to be aware of. So I don't really think I have anything else to say about it. Like I said, I highly recommend going and watching a series with Cooper, the reactive Australian Shepherd. Hold on, Emma. And check that out. Come here. Come here. All right. Wanted to get him on the inside here. For those of you joining, these aren't my dogs. These are clients' dogs. Emma and Lila, the Great Danes. Give them some time in the grass here. Some point here, I'm gonna figure out what street I'm on so we can find the bowl of water. Somebody that leaves a bowl of water out here for dogs to drink. Yeah, I know, Emma. I know. It's a little itchy. I get it. Let's go. Come on. But appreciate everybody joining. If you have any questions, let me know. Or at this point, if anybody just wants to shoot the shit, that's something you want to talk about, feel free. I just posted a video too today. If memberships will be available on the channel very soon. The channel's about to be eligible for that. So, I'm just looking for feedback from you guys. If there's anything you would find valuable, like if you signed up for a membership, what would you want? What would be valuable to you? Would it be instructional videos, how-to videos, personalized videos for you and your dog, personalized instructions for you and your dog, anything like that? What kind of topics do you need help with? I already offer virtual coaching, so anywhere in the world, if you wanted to do virtual sessions, that's offered too. But it'll be in the membership somewhere. But whatever you're looking for, you just let me know. I'm just trying to get ideas from you guys, because I don't want to offer things that people don't even want. When you guys, if you decided to, would be the ones paying for it. But really appreciate all the new subscribers, all the people that have been tuning into the live streams. Very much appreciated. All the newcomers, thank you. And all the people that have been here for a while, thank you. It's all very much appreciated. But, we're just chipping away at this thing one day at a time. Right, girls? Exactly. One day at a time. Yeah, people are always stopping and looking at the dogs. They're like horses. If anybody's ever been around a Great Dane, I mean, you could literally ride Lila. She's that big. that dog barking over there. But oh, as I said at the beginning of the stream, if you're new to the channel, I have a series called "The Parallels Between the Rise in Aggressive Behavior Between Dogs and Kids." If you haven't seen that series, I highly recommend it. The first video I did is still, I think it's the best performing video on my channel. But there's a lot of parallels and overlap in the rise in aggressive behavior we see in children to the rise in aggressive behavior we see in dogs. So I'm just making those connections, drawing those parallels, just so people can see how similar it is, why these problems are becoming more common with children and dogs. And so it's a really good, there's 3 parts, but it's definitely got a lot of good feedback for those videos, so highly recommend them if you haven't seen them. You know, just like reactivity, aggression is an issue that is more and more common. You know, these Facebook, there's a lot of Facebook groups dedicated to aggressive and reactive dogs, and it's just, I mean, people post every day. New people join these groups every day. It's, oh, I got this reactive dog, I got this aggressive dog. Can anybody? It's just, it becomes exhausting. You see it so much. But I see the same problems over and over. It's the same fucking problems over and over and over again. But I see the same problems with my clients. And the cause of those problems are, in many cases, the same. People that think love and affection is everything. People that don't, they're not consistent. There isn't enough discipline. People that don't properly establish boundaries. There's not enough structure. I see it with those people the most. And so, if you have a reactive dog, I would examine those things first. Am I too permissive with my dog? Am I giving affection too much and at all the wrong times? Am I trying to be more of a friend as opposed to an authority figure? Do I follow through on what I tell my dog? Or do I let things slide? Or am I inconsistent? Do I talk too much to my dog? A lot of people talk way too fucking much to their dog. Way too much. Hold on, I see some new comments here. I don't know why. It looks like they're just showing up. I thought. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, it's, you know, everything played out, you know, the way it was supposed to, and did the best he could, man. As I've said, you are in a unique position because you are visually impaired, and so and you have other health problems, so your situation's unique than most. Yeah, probably right, Ryan. Oh no, actually, I guess these are older comments. For some reason, I didn't see them. My bad, guys. Anyway, if anybody has anything. But I would say the most common problem I see with clients or people online or whatever is affection. And a lot of people that struggle in resolving these issues, I always hear the same thing when I ask them, They always say, oh, it's so hard for me to not pet the dog. You know, it's so hard for me to not give in to the, you know, it's like, I get it, but listen, you have to understand that this is the problem. And it's funny too, because sometimes they're couples, and it's usually the girlfriend who's like, oh, I can't help it. I just wanted to pet the dog, and she's so cute, but the guy, the man doesn't have the same problems. So, well, when I'm with the dog, we don't have any issues. It's like, yeah, because usually typically it's the guys that are the more disciplinary type, and so the dog respects the male figure more. Not to say I've seen my fair share of the reverse, where it's the woman that's more assertive, and it's the guy that's too soft. You know, I've definitely seen a lot of that too. But there's usually one person. There's usually one person that's too soft, and one that's right on the money. And I always say, well, just emulate what the other person's doing. Just do the same thing, right? But I think people don't understand that your dog does not receive the affection in the same way that you're giving it. Right? You're communicating, you know, all affection is communication, it's input, it's information. But people don't seem to understand how the dog receives that. And so I see a lot of, and a lot of times people don't know how to read it, but in a lot of cases I see dogs that are demanding affection, and people aren't even aware of it. Like when dogs nudge your hand, or they jump up and invade your space, or they look cute, maybe they get in your lap and roll around. These are all demands for affection or attention. But people think they perceive it as, oh, the dog's being cute, the dog loves me. But that's not really what's happening. Because on the flip side of that, they're saying, well, the dog doesn't listen to me. Well, the two are connected. The two go hand in hand, right? Listen, you can still love your dog, but apply mostly discipline, you know? It's like when you have a kid and you're just giving them tough love. You still love your kid, but it's like, hey, I'm going to do what's necessary. Maybe my kid's not going to like me for a little while, but this is what needs to be done. You know, it's the same idea. For anybody joining, this is Lila and Emma. These are not my dogs. These are my client's dog. Oh, girls, I don't think we've ever been down this little alley. We've been all over this area, but I don't think we've ever been down this alley. As I said before, I'd walk these dogs off leash, but I don't have permission to do it. I think they would do well, but you know, it's not my dogs. So. Man, does anybody else get a shitload of spam these days? Like it never ends. I'm tired of getting all these spam texts and spam messages. It's like never ends. Girls, I don't even know what road we're on right now. I gotta figure out what road we're on so I can find that water bowl. Shit, we might even end up on the right road. We might end up on the right road on accident. Alright, cool. Let's go this way. Let's see if we can... Man, there's a fuckload of construction everywhere I go. It never ends. It's like y'all couldn't have done this in like May or June. Y'all wanted to start in August? But if you're just joining, I just posted a video talking about how memberships will be available very, very soon. So if anybody has any input, feedback, any ideas as to, if you were to sign up for a membership, what would you want? What would you want? Would you want how-to videos, instructional videos, breakdown videos, in-depth videos on particular topics, personalized videos for you and your dog, tailored to whatever issues you have, instructions for you and your dog, tailored to whatever issue you have? Would you want, let's turn around. Well, virtual coaching, I already offer that, so, that'll be in there. But anything you guys would want, you just let me know. Leave a comment. Give me some feedback if that's something you guys are interested in. All right. But if not, then I'll just put whatever I feel like. Put whatever I fucking feel like. But it'll be exclusive, whatever I post in the members area won't be on the channel. So but one thing's for sure, I won't be putting Grey Goose behind a membership paywall. That won't be happening. Unlike some people, we won't be doing that. But appreciate everybody joining. If you're just joining, I'd go back to the beginning. I've already said what I wanted to say on the subject. Anybody has anything they want to share, want to talk about, feel free to comment or ask. We're just enjoying this beautiful Wednesday with these two Great Danes. If you're just joining, this is Lila, this is Emma. Two horses. Not my dogs. They're a client's dog. So I don't have permission to walk them off leash, otherwise I would. You want some shade? Yeah, girls, I don't know where we're at. I haven't looked at a street sign. But I know you need water. Oh, okay, I know where we're at now, Campbell. All right, we're not, I don't think we're far. We're not far from the water bowls. Yeah, this is the only downside, guys, to the gentle eaters, is they tend to get itchy on the muzzle. It doesn't seem to bother Lila so much, but Emma, she's always itching on her muzzle. And see, I don't even have it that tight, they're just itchy. So let's see if we can find you some water, Gross. Let's find you some water. All right. Let's go. I think we're close. I think we're close to the water. Anyway, anybody joining? If you're just joining, I pretty much said everything I needed to say about the topic. But if you have any questions about reactivity, feel free to ask. If you have a dog who has it, or you're having issues with it, let me know. This is Emma. That's Lila. And for those of you that have been here for a while, I know I'm sorry you have to hear the same thing over and over and over again. Appreciate you guys sticking around though. Oh yeah, we're not even close to the water. We went way far. Here's the church. People always stop and ask, like, what kind of dogs are those? They're half horse. They're the horse breed. Okay, we're gonna cross the street here. Make sure no one's coming. All right. All right, girls. All right, girls. I assume it's just OT and Ryan still in here, right? Appreciate you guys sticking around. You know, Ryan, what's funny is if you're still in here, people have told me like that I should make Grey Goose a therapy dog, a therapy dog, and I'd never intended it, but I can see where they're coming from. I always say she's like doggy Xanax. She's like a shot of doggy vodka. Her name being Grey Goose. But if you're just joining, this is Lila. This is Emma. What street are we on here? Trying to find the water bowls. Someone leaves water bowls out. Trying to get them a drink of water. But we're just taking a walk. These aren't my dogs. Otherwise, I would walk them off leash. I don't have permission from the owner to do that, so. But just doing our weekly walk with the Danes. Appreciate everybody who's just joining. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about reactivity, but if you have any questions, let me know. Or I would just go back to the beginning of the stream. Otherwise, as I said, posted a video this morning discussing memberships being available soon, so if anybody has any ideas of what you would want if you were to sign up, let me know. Any and all feedback is appreciated. But I think we're close to the water bowls, girls. I think we're close. I think we're close. I see like they just saw a squirrel here. But just got to keep them focused, yeah. Oh, what street are we on? Okay, there's Prairie. Okay, Bluff. I think we're on the right street. Oh, girls, I'm trying to remember. Bluff. I know it started with a B. Where are we at on Prairie? I don't even know where we're at on Prairie. Let me think here. Okay, we didn't pass any water over there. Let's just keep going. Let's see if it's up here. Let's just see if it's up here, huh? Okay. It's funny too, because Lila's like, oh, here, yeah, there it is. Lila's like a saliva factory. She just flings huge strands of spit everywhere. We found the water. We found the agua. Yes, we found the water. Well, hold on. Hold on. Lila, you want to? Go on. All right. There's going to be so much spit in that bowl when they're done. More so Lila. She leaves a lot of backwash. Sorry, Emma. I know she just kind of pulled you. Yeah, as I said, the only downside of the gentle leaders is they itch. They itch the muzzle. They're a great tool, but a lot of times when you first put them on a dog, they fight. You know, it can be a process. But once you get going with them, they're a fantastic tool. Although at this point, I think I would recommend Halties more. I think they're a little more comfortable. There's a little more material. I don't think there's as much discomfort with the Haltie as with the gentle leader. But I only use them in last. I mean, in this case, this is what the owner wants to walk them on. You know, she's an older woman. I just come walk her dogs for her. She can't really walk them herself. So the gentle leader really just helps her. You know, you're talking about a tiny, I mean, the woman's like 4'6". You're talking about a tiny old woman walking 200+ pound dogs. So the gentle leader gives her the leverage she needs. But we don't, in this case, we don't use them for these dogs as for behavioral issues, just so her owner can walk. You know, if she needs to take them to the vet or something, it just makes it easy. Right. Otherwise, I'd take them off. I'd be walking them off leash, but I don't have permission to do that. Come on, girls, let's go. I do not have permission to do that. But really appreciate everybody joining. It's been a really nice walk. I've already discussed reactivity and whatnot. So if you're just joining, I'd go back to the beginning of the stream if you wanted to hear anything. Appreciate everybody liking the video too. Thank you. It means a lot. Really, really helps. All right, let's go this way. Let's go this way. If you're just joining, that's Emma. That's Lila. It's like walking two horses around. People always stop me in the neighborhood like, well, what kind of dogs are those? It's funny too when people stop at stop signs and we're standing there, they just kind of stop and stare. It's hilarious. Right, girls? It's hilarious. They're big old fucking teddy bears though. Right? Big old fucking teddy bears. How you doing? But appreciate everybody's just joining. Just walking with Lila and Emma, the big Great Danes. Walk around the neighborhood. Not my dogs. They belong to a very, very small older woman. And she has problems with her leg. She can't really walk that well. So once a week I drop by and take her dogs for a walk. Get them out. Get them some sunshine. A little bit of exercise, you know. Nice focused exercise, you know. You know, structured walk does a lot of good. Yeah, I'll talk about structured walks for a minute. Structured walks are extremely important. A lot of people that focus on exercise focus way too much on physical stimulation, right? But if you're not mentally stimulating your dog in the right way, you're not really, dogs are built to go and go and go and go and be physical. So, you may have a dog who's really high energy and you may exercise the shit out of it, but it doesn't really help. Now, if you mentally stimulate that dog, that will do the trick. But a structured walk is an extremely effective way to, apply mental discipline to your dog. So when you're walking and your dog has to adhere to the natural boundaries of the sidewalk, your dog has to stay on one side. Your dog has to focus, eyes forward, pay attention to you, pay attention to the task at hand. Don't worry about anything in the environment. That takes, it's discipline in a mental form. So a structured walk can do wonders for, calming your dog down, mentally stimulating your dog. That way, when you go home, a 45-minute structured walk will serve you far better than 2-hour walk where it's just nothing but chaos and the dog's just doing whatever the fuck it wants to do. Right? The two are not the same at all. I think we got a dog coming up here. I don't know what this person's doing. I don't know. We got a dog. Let's go. Alright, we're just crossing the road. I'm sure you can hear the dog barking. But anyway, I think I'm going to cut it off. We're going to be done here in like the next 10 minutes. I don't really have anything else to say. So, really, really appreciate everybody joining, hanging out. Appreciate everybody contributing to the chat. Appreciate the likes. Thank you so much. If you're just dropping by, I'm about to end the stream here in a minute. Unless there's something anybody wants to say or question. I dropped a video earlier today talking about memberships that will be available soon. So if anybody has any input as far as what they would like, in the hypothetical that someone were to sign up for a membership, what kind of material or perks or what is it people want? Otherwise, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Again, in terms of seeing reactivity being resolved, I would highly recommend going out the series I did with Cooper, the reactive Australian Shepherd, or the series I have with Chance, the Border Collie. Cooper was an example of a dog who's extremely reactive but not aggressive, and Chance was an example of a dog who's extremely reactive and is aggressive. So, two series I highly recommend checking out. Otherwise, really appreciate everybody stopping by. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you.